It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Philip Simon. Losing my voice already, Gandhi.
Man, listen, Phil, top of the morning to you. It's a Monday, we had a holiday and just beautiful things are happening. That's what I just told G-Day, I have COVID fatigue. I don't know about you.
Well, it's something. It's something. You had another holiday this weekend. What was that?
Well, it was G-Day. It was G-Day. I lost track of the days, and I'm usually used to August Monday falling on the 10th, but the Progressive National Baptist Convention had their annual session, and it was amazing. And under the leadership of Reverend Dr. Timothy Stewart, and we had like Joe Biden and Clyburn and Jennifer Hudson and so many people, and then people from the Bahamas, Dr. Ivan Butler, and everybody came in and everyone was a part of it. And it was just an exciting weekend, and I lost track of the days and the time. So I had another holiday weekend because it felt that long.
With a weekend like that, I certainly would lose track. Congratulations to everybody involved. I'm mourning the fact that, tomorrow's supposed to be Foxhole Day, and man.
Nobody climbing the greasy pole?
Pardon?
Nobody climbing the greasy pole?
Climbing the greasy pole, man. Nobody's climbing the greasy pole.
But you know what? They could set that up, and that one person could climb, or you could have like a few people socially distanced, climb the greasy pole, and the counselors can film it.
Lockdown. We on lockdown. Not even curfew. We're on lockdown for another week or so. Prime Minister again came on yesterday. We have, I think we're up to 777 active cases right now, 898 positive cases, Gandhi. Yeah. 20 new cases yesterday. Again, the majority in Grand Bahama, 15 in Grand Bahama, 5 in New Providence. But we're still in the middle of it, man. Still in the middle of it. No real changes except on a couple of the family islands.
Yeah, and all over the world. And people are saying, okay, when will we get to do this? And people are trying to plan events. But for now, I think you better get used to Zoom and plan virtual events. But virtual events actually have an awesome impact, because the same event that I was telling you about, it was 3 days of events, but when I looked at the views and impact, it was about 100,000. And so sometimes you don't get that when people gather in a building. So we have to remember that and just produce these things with excellence. So I say videographers, producers, digital content managers, content creators, it's your time and it's your season. That's it.
It's a brand new digital world, but you know what? I like to be able to, be able to touch and feel and just, socialize, but we're not there and we won't be there for several months. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. I don't even want to say 18 to 24 months, but, the bottom line is we're moving towards a vaccine. There's been a healthy debate about this vaccination thing. But at the same time, that COVID is real. We can't even conspiracy theorists theorize this anymore. It's real. It's impacting the world, and we have to learn to live with it. I think that's the bottom line. And
Right.
A big part of that is following the protocols, enforcing the protocols, and penalizing those that break it. Right.
You know what? Yes, Phil. And that's one of the reasons why I love Bahamas at Sunrise, because just even thinking about what's coming up, we have Dr. Erica Richardson, and she's a marriage and family therapist, and she's going to talk about mental health and coping mechanisms during this tumultuous time. So, we have those people here to share that information with us, because when you look at the statistics and what's happening in families and stuff, there are also amazing things happening in families. People are getting closer. They're talking about things that they've never spoken about before. People are growing in their faith as we are stretched. And so there are a lot of positives, but you really have to get creative to see, especially if you have young kids. Like we can maybe understand, but the homeschooling and parents, this, let me tell y'all something, that grade 5 math ain't no joke, you know. Bill, that's a serious thing. And so parents are here and they're having to basically help and teach the lessons. The online learning is great, but it is just a whole new world and things that we're learning. And we say things to be positive, but we still do need to find ways to cope, check in with people, video call. I always say check on your strong friend, because your strong friend is the person who probably needs it the most.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, I recall that fourth, fifth grade math with Nachi, my eldest, who's now getting ready to go back to third year in university. And I remember at this time she brought home homework. You know, I was a math major, right? And I I completely changed the way that her teacher was doing it, and I insisted that my way was the right way of doing it. This was she was in the fourth, fifth grade, and I was so excited to be helping her. And she took it back to school, and she came back home that afternoon with such a disappointed look. She's like, "Dad, you got all my math homework wrong." And
Oh,
then I
oh
stopped doing
no.
that.
Oh
But
no.
listen,
So what's happening on your end? So we have Dr. Richardson, and what about
yeah,
you?
we have Dr. Richardson. We also have Lance Pinder. He's the operations manager of the Apico Big Bird Poultry to talk about production in Apico. And Basil Smith, he is the executive director of the Association for Bahamas Marinas to talk about yachting during COVID-19. I think we've learned a lot about them over the last several months. But listen, before we get there and before
Wait,
we
did
get,
you just say yachting during COVID-19?
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
obviously, he's
I
going to
think
tell us all about it, but they've had to adjust as well. You hear about the boats, you hear about the marinas, you hear about access, you hear about a lot of things related to that particular industry. And of course, it's still open. I mean, persons can still come in on private boats as well as private planes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I wonder if Lance Pinder, Lance, you might be my cousin. Hey, we could get some of them birds for Bamboo Shack.
Well, good
You got to
point.
buy Bahamian?
I shall ask him about that. I shall ask him
Yeah.
about that. Listen, before you get to Godfrey, I want to wish a very happy birthday to Marion Ramsey. That's my aunt. She's in Canada. She watches us sometimes on Facebook. Also, Pastor Devin Roll, Harry Bunch, and I almost want to say an old classmate, but Harry would probably get upset. You know what? I did say an old classmate. So Harry, you're getting up there, my brother. And Shalisha Kemp, who celebrated over the weekend.
You know what? And now that you say that, I have to go and I have to do my sharing on Facebook to make sure people all around the world can catch us on Bahamas at sunrise. But Johnny Kemp would have celebrated his birthday, so we remember him fondly. Mr. Just got paid, but he was an awesome person, such a compassionate and kind individual, and just a great person. And he really did a lot. But I don't know how many people around the world know that he's actually Bahamian. AC Coakley celebrated, landlord celebrated, singer. He's into ministry and just an all-around amazing person. So we want to say happy birthday to ya. Catch the confetti. Happy birthday to ya. Phil.
My goodness, what time did you get up this morning? Listen, Godfrey Burnside is going to give us our first look at weather at sunrise. Did the Lakers win, Godfrey? I'm trying to remember now. I don't even know where they are.
Oh, those Lakers.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
First, like, it's got a weak surface trough across the northwest Bahamas, so throw off a couple of showers. And we're also watching upper level low the central Bahamas, but a pretty good in store weather-wise for us today. We're looking at partly sunny, still hot and humid, with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms possible. Your high temperature reaching 91, feel like about 109 tonight. Looking at partly cloudy skies, still warm, with a few passing showers. Your low temperature going to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs in lows of Caribbean, Barbados 83 and 80. In Jamaica, 88 and 74. In Trinidad, 84 and 77. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 91 and 81. Across North America, Atlanta 91.74. In Raleigh 91.72. In Miami 92.79. Dallas, Texas 95.80. And Toronto, Canada 81.62. Friday with a look, we're looking at partly sunny skies, still hot and humid throughout the weekend. Low temperature daytime will be in the lower 90s, at nighttime around 80-degree mark. That puts you up in your first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Bahamas Sunrise will be back after a short commercial break.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want first response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Business in the Box is your solution for business from Cable Bahamas. It's an internet, voice, mobile, and advertising solution all in one place. Get reliable internet, free domestic call, and a live corporate package, and free TV ad placement, all starting with packages as low as $164 a month. You can save over $3,000 a year. Just call 601-8911. That's 601-8911. And ask for Business in a Box from Cable Bahamas Business Solution. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We are now going to be speaking with Mr. Lance Pinder, the operations manager of the Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farm, talking about restarting production and what that means for Abaco and the country. Lance, I was talking with Gandhi right before the segment, and we were wondering whether or not you were that long-lost cousin. I can see a slight resemblance, but I'm not quite sure. Good morning. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farm. Give us a quick summary about your company, how long you've been around, and what all do you produce besides the obvious?
We have been the farm was started in 95. So we're like in the 25, 26 year period now. It started with chicken, obviously, and then they went into some other things like bananas. They did for quite a while, but then the frequency of the hurricanes, bananas are really, really susceptible to storms. So got out of that around 04. And then we went more into like avocados and like citrus crops, those type of things. So that's the bulk of the business: chicken, avocados, and limes.
Limes, yeah. I mean, you talk about the hurricanes of the past. Obviously, we had one at the end of last year that will not be forgotten anytime soon, and that is Dorian. Dorian, I'm sure, also had a tremendous impact on your farm. Speak a little bit about when was the last time the farm was in full production and capability?
Right before Dorian, the end of August. Dorian came through. We've never been knocked out like this. We've had Gene and Francis and Floyd and all of those within a matter of days, sometimes within a week and a half. We were back up and running and going full steam ahead. Dorian did so much damage that, we were even questioning whether to restart the farm because it's a tough business. And we were like, do we really want to start from scratch almost and rebuild this whole thing? But we decided to go back into it.
Okay. Well, I guess that is good. It's been a slow process, so you're not back into it just yet, or what's the timeline for that?
Well, we did our first batch of birds this week.
Okay.
Finishing packaging the rest of them up today. It's fast as we could package it up. It's just gone. People's been anxious and waiting for it. So that's one barn we have running. The second one will be completed this week. So chicks. Then I'll have 2 barns going, and 2 more just arrived. The whole COVID thing slowed us down by about 3 months.
Yeah.
Some of the equipment we had ordered was delayed because the factories had to shut down. With a lot of that stuff specialized, so you can't just like go to Home Depot and find it. It has to be made for you. So we had 2 of them show up on the ground last week, so we'll start constructing them. And hopefully one of those will be done by October. By the end of the year, we hope to have at least 4 running.
Wow. Well, certainly we will all continue to pray here in the country. I mean, all of this, I guess getting it all back up and running, and we are still in the midst of another hurricane season. It's kind of hard to believe. And then you talk about COVID. I mean, you talk about COVID besides, the challenges related to, getting the equipment. Any other changes, impact that COVID has had?
Other than your daily life, not a whole lot. I mean, it's definitely slowed down the reconstruction efforts here in Abaco. In March, the tourists were ready to come back, even though things were very damaged and stuff like that. The South Abaco, like from the farm going south, really didn't get hit that bad. So there's a few restaurants and vacation homes and resorts down that way, and the tourists were all ready to come back, and everyone was looking forward to the money coming in, and from that all, as you know, with the whole country, that got turned off.
But let me ask you a question with regards to Abaco Big Bird. Do you service primarily or mostly just Abaco? What's the long-term plans for your company?
Before the storm, about half of our chicken was consumed here in Abaco, and the other half we shipped out to New Providence. And I think from New Providence, it found its way to Eleuthera and other places. Shipping directly from Abaco to, say, Eleuthera or Exuma is very complicated and difficult. The mail boats just don't link up. So we are looking at getting back into those markets. Obviously, we can't build everything all one time, so that's where we're headed with that. And we when it first happened, we knew at least half of our market was here in Abaco when the storm came through. So all those resorts and restaurants and hotels, all our customers were gone. So we're like, we got to take this slow and grow as our market grows. Mm-hmm. So that's still basically the same plan. Okay. We got some different ideas of how we're going to get the stuff to customers than Nassau and other places than the previous routes we took.
We used to have these conversations, with the IDB and the Chamber of Commerce and the Caribbean years ago. In fact, probably still today, talking about food shortage. And, this has even been reinvigorated with the whole COVID thing. Do you think that we have a real potential to have a food shortage here in our country? And do you think there's an opportunity for Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farm to kind of participate in those conversations and a solution to the issues that we may encounter? Right.
Well, there's potential for numerous reasons. There was a food shortage in Abaco right after the storm. We were the only freezers and cold storage facilities here on the farm that were up and running and didn't get totally destroyed. We had some of the only food on the island, and we were giving away chicken to people. I think with the country, with the food shortage, what we're looking at now is not going to come. It's not going to come that the United States is going to run out of food and they're not going to send it to us. I don't think that's going to be the issue. The issue is with our economy shut down. If we start running out of U.S. reserves to purchase the food from overseas, is where you're going to run into a problem. And I think that's a very real threat, and we've really put ourselves in this situation for failure to diversify our economy and be little less reliant on food imports.
And that has been
big pressure the government's under to get the borders open back up, because they know we need those US dollars coming in here. So
I tell you what, it's a balancing act. I don't envy leadership in any way, form, or fashion. Lance, thank you so much for being with us this morning. It is just about 7 o'clock, so your doors are open. I'm pretty sure everybody's running around, right?
Yeah, they're just showing up. We're not so pressured these days, but yeah, they'll be here any minute, showing up this half.
But listen, thank you once again. Lance Pinder, the operations manager of the Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farm. You are watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
That was great. That was a great interview.
Do you want to know more about the scriptures, the early Christian church, its teachings, suffering, other religions, the authenticity of the Bible? The Anglican Theological Institute is for you. Enroll in a 3-year certificate program. Classes are conducted from NASA and Freeport on Saturday mornings. Don't miss a class. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with high-speed internet. Contact us at 603-2481. Visit our Facebook page. Pick up an application form at any Anglican church or at Addington House on Sands Road. The Anglican Theological Institute is for you.
Nourish your immune system. Nourish your health. Nourish your life with Ensure. Ensure Original, Ensure Plus, and Ensure Max Protein.
Welcome back. Last week, the Prime Minister announced the implementation of a 2-week minimum nationwide lockdown in response to the second wave of COVID-19 cases. While there are widely talked about concerns surrounding the social and economic side effects, there is also a high risk of mental health issues that will potentially impact everyone. Here to talk about these issues is Edrika Richardson, marriage and family therapist, life consultant, and CEO of Richardson Psychotherapeutic and Consulting Limited. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Gabby. How are you?
Hey, girl, this is you. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thanks for having me.
And I want to say that I see you online, so naturally, I'm so proud, and it's so good because when we talk about these types of issues, people would usually say older people, but tell us who is this pandemic really affecting? Because we don't think about our kids as much, and we don't think about the teens, and we don't think about the millennials. Who's it affecting?
Actually, it's affecting to the oldest. What I've seen, especially with children, is that right now they're lacking the socialization they're used to. Either they would have gotten it through some school interaction that ended abruptly, or they would have gotten it with the summer vacations and they get to meet new people during that time or play with their cousins. So they're being affected on that level. The teens, I think, are almost the missed community during this time because we expect that they understand what is happening and they don't need that same level of supervision. But I found that a lot of them don't understand. They get the information from social media and they can't interpret what that actually means in the context of their lives, especially if they're going to high school, graduating, probably going to college, and what does that mean for the future for them? And then we have the millennials who are in between, trying to figure out how do they get into the workforce, as well as how do they deal with the fact of that maybe they have to go back home for a bit because of the financial challenges right now. So
even those abroad in school and university.
Right. I know I have a few clients this week who are talking about they're about to go back off because some of their schools have not transitioned to the online, and figuring out and how to maneuver through that anxiety with now having to leave their home front to go back to some places that are still unsafe and that are not connecting safely. And how do they deal with that, especially when they can't just jump on a plane like they would have been and under normal circumstances to come back home in case there are conditions with the borders. So we have people experiencing at all levels, especially even our older generation. They have to figure out now how to really use technology and connect, because you can't really go to them, but they don't want to feel left out.
And that's what I wanted to transition into or segue into, I guess. This whole, we're talking about telehealth, telemedicine, tele. How do we do that? How does that work online? Let's say like with your organization.
So it would work just how you would set up a traditional session. You would call in, and what you would do is we would use preferably a compliant software, meaning that it's a software that has the security protocols so that we can see each other face to face through a video conferencing tool, so we can have our traditional session. And I found that a lot of my clients have been easily able to transition to that. There are some who still do prefer face to face, so they of course will have to wait until we are allowed back into the offices. But most of them have transitioned smoothly, because right now there's an increase in mental health needs because people are trying to figure out how to cope.
And that's another thing I wanted to ask you. I'm sure that you've seen an increase in mental health issues since the pandemic, but I guess what is most prominent or predominant at this time?
I think the most predominant thing I'm seeing is anxiety issues, because anxiety is that want an understanding of how do I deal with things out of my control, especially things in my future. And right now we are living in a time where there is no control of that, because 1 week we're outside and the next week we cannot be outside, or 1 week we have a job and next week we don't. And so we're always told to plan ahead, right? Have a 5-year, 10-year plan. But this pandemic has taught a lot of us that we have to have plans, but also be flexible with those plans so that we are able to deal with these changing times. And coping right now is really on a day-to-day basis, because I tell everybody, we weren't trained for this in school.
I want to ask you this because, there's often a stigma around mental health. And even in the Caribbean, we're just kind of bringing this into our normal everyday conversation. Do you think that there's enough conversation about mental health in general?
I think the conversation has started. I think we do need more of it. I think from the top level down within every country, there needs to be a constant conversation on it, so that we understand that even when we give addresses to people, how that affects their mental health. When we talk to them on a daily basis, how does that affect their mental health? And I briefly heard you say earlier about the strong people right now. A lot of the strong people right now are not being checked in because people assume that they are better able to cope during a time like this. And I would encourage everybody, check on everybody. There's nobody who's immune to what's happening right now. And so they too need a call or maybe a drive-by conversation when you're allowed to do so, just to make sure that they're okay during this time.
Right. And so Richardson Psychotherapeutic, tell us exactly what area of specialty what area of therapy you specialize in.
Sure. I see anyone from the ages of 6 up to over 70 on a variety of issues, from anxiety, depression, so individual, family, and couples therapy. So right now, just trying to help everybody get through these transitional times, and we focus on any type of issues that may be happening at the time.
So you mentioned 6. Is the age of 6 really when they can start to process and answer the questions the way you would need them to?
That's what I found in my practice, and that's why I started the age 6, because at 6, I found that they're better able to tell me everything that's going on, not only with them, but with everything around them, from their household to school life. There are some other therapists who work with kids a little younger, but for me, 6 has been my cutoff.
I want to know what are some of the signs? Like if we see depression, anxiety building in someone, and does that vary depending on the age?
It could look a little different. For instance, for a child, when they're anxious, they're not going to say to mom or dad, hey, I'm feeling anxious right now, like an adult would. They'll probably say something like, my tummy hurts, or I can't sleep at night. And you notice these, maybe even they are regressing in some of their progress. Maybe they would sleep in their beds by themselves, and all of a sudden now they always want to be in mommy and daddy's room.
Or even wetting the bed.
Or wetting the bed. Those are some key signs to see that they are going through something that they cannot emotionally express in an adult-like format. So you have to do a bit more inquiry. For adults, they will usually be a little bit more verbal, but sometimes they become reclusive. So you notice them kind of taking a step back from their normal things. Maybe they're not even doing hygiene things. Those are some of the key things to look for when you see people who may be going through some maybe anxiety or depression symptoms.
So essentially, communication is key. We should be gentle. We should be thoughtful. I know that we're winding down. You have to come back because this is definitely a series. How can we reach you for more information and even follow you on social media?
Sure. You can give me a call at 425-0718, or you can go to my website, which is www.rpc-ltd.com. Again, it's rpc-ltd.com. And that has all the social media handles so that you can follow me. And I try to weekly put something up to inspire us all during this transitional time.
Okay, Doc. So I guess in the last 15 seconds, what message do you want to leave with the Bahamian people and those watching around the world?
I would tell everybody that right now it's a day-to-day transition, so just hang in there for a little bit longer. And if you need it, we all need a little help sometimes, so feel free to reach out. I will make sure to find somebody who will help you.
Girl, I'm going to call you because this COVID fatigue is setting in. So I'm going to ring. Tell me that phone number again.
It's 425-0718.
425-0718. Thank you so very much. So good having you on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good to see you, Gandhi.
Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Doctors Hospital. As the Bahamas reopens, we at Doctors Hospital have been hard at work preparing for the new normal. The health and safety of our patients, associates, and others entering the hospital space is ever paramount and shapes the experience as you enter our facilities. All persons entering the hospital will be COVID screened, which includes a temperature check and a few short questions. There's also mandatory hand and shoe washing stations upon entry. Masks are required and can be provided if necessary. To further limit contact, Doctors Hospital has launched a concierge service that allows for pre-registration, a hospital itinerary, in-car waiting, and a navigator to guide you through your visit. Our pharmacy is now offering curbside pickup and delivery services for prescriptions as well. Social distancing markers are placed around the facility, and scheduling for imaging, including CAT scans, mammograms, and 3T MRIs. Laboratory, including our new same-day COVID-19 PCR testing, rehabilitation, and other services, has also been adjusted. Doctors Hospital is here to serve you with the same quality and care that you've come to expect, even as we enter a new normal. Now, more than ever, Doctors Hospital continues to be trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
Business in the Box is your solution for business from Cable Bahamas. It's an internet, voice, mobile, and advertising solution all in one place. Get reliable internet, free domestic call, and a live corporate package, and free TV ad placement, all starting with packages as low as $164 a month. You can save over $3,000 a year. Just call 601-8911. That's 601-8911. And ask for Business in a Box from Cable Bahamas Business Solution. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Again, happy Monday to you. I'm Philip Simon.
Happy Monday. I'm Gandhi, and I'm having a blast here with my on-site producer. Okay, so who's actually my mom. I spent the weekend here. And I think everyone needs to know this because we're all on Zoom, right? So she put a few books underneath my laptop. She's like, "Oh, it has to be elevated and it has to be at the right angle." And she has these lights around it. So she said, "You have to have proper lighting." And I don't know if you noticed, like she changed my necklace.
I did notice. I'm expecting another wardrobe change here shortly, Gandhi. But
get yourself a
morning to
producer.
Elaine,
Okay?
for me,
Get yourself
please.
a producer.
But listen, very, very, I think, significant conversation you were having with Dr. Richardson there, because we do kind of take it for granted sometimes that those of us who appear to be the strong ones, right, also have issues. I mean, that was a very significant point I thought she made. Makes me want to go and get myself checked out.
But guess what? Nothing's wrong with that. And it's always good to have a conversation outside of who you would normally have a conversation with. And she said, listen, look, my clients in the United States, they're on a whole other level right now. Like they're really, really needing this and tapping in. And I just think we need to release the stigma because it's, just like calling up a friend, hey girl, but this person is actually trained, professional who can pick up things that sometimes our friends can't, and it's necessary.
Yeah. Again, we say it all the time. I believe the long-term impact of COVID, of course, yet to be realized because we're still in the midst of this just devastating storm of a pandemic. But I don't know. Anyway, listen, we're talking with Lance, your cousin, Lance Pinder over there.
Yeah, my good cousin.
That
was a good interview.
I forgot to ask him. I really wanted to ask him, again, what comes first, the chicken and the egg, that
oh yeah, you missed that. We needed a good laugh. That would have been good. We gotta bring Lance back. But like he said, things are different and people are trickling in, and it's different. But I'm interested to learn about what's happening right now with the boating and yachting season. And so I'm excited about that and to see if it's going to be kind of leisure. I know some people are not in the position to do that, but then there are some people who say, hey, this will be an investment for me to get away and kind of clear my mind. So I'm interested in seeing what that's going to be about.
Well, it's one of the few things we kind of have left right now, once we get off lockdown, of course. And we're going to revisit that segment on crabbing in the big yard in Andros with Mark, eh?
Yeah, that was a good segment. But let's talk about this segment that we need to do on you with coconut barking. So you've been in the yard and you did the coconut. Tell the people about the coconut film that you ain't share with us.
You caught me chewing off camera. Now you're going to bring all my business on TV, but
that looks so good.
The fruits of my labor.
That looks so good. So you mix that with anything? You put that in anything or you mix it up? Or?
No. Listen, the more we get directly from the earth, the better we're going to be, right?
Okay, that's the secret to looking young while you got this glow. Okay, Phil, I'm on to you. Mm-hmm.
So listen, we're gonna keep it going here in Bahamas at sunrise. Godfrey Burnside is gonna bring us our second look with weather at sunrise. It looks like a beautiful day already.
They don't have me introducing Godfrey Burnside like with the weather or saying coming back to Godfrey. Why did they give that to you?
You hesitated, man. You hesitated, and I just
go ahead then. I gotta be on you to make sure you introducing him.
The man, the myth, the legend. Here's Godfrey Burnside with our second look at weather.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First in Insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Phil. Morning, Gandhi. Hope you are well this morning. And yes, second look at the weather at sunrise, the tropics. And we do have an active tropical wave, some 700 miles south-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. It's moving towards the west at 15 miles per hour. Over the next 5 days, has a 60% chance of development. Tropical depression could form over the next 5 days. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 5 days. On the local scene, weak trough across the northwest Bahamas, and an upper-level trough across the central Bahamas could trigger off some pockets of showers during the daytime. In your marine forecast, those winds today, Monday through Tuesday, will be light and variable at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over the northwest Bahamas, easty at 15 knots, seas 2 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Wednesday, those winds become east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest Bahamas, continuing east at 15 knots, sea 2 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Yeah, tides. You can expect a low tide at 7:05 this morning. Next high tide at 1:22 this afternoon. Low again this evening at 7:38. Sunset 7:49 this evening. Rising was 6:43. UV next 9. Your water temperature 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And your moon phase last quarter. 5 the weather outlook. Partly sunny skies, still hot, still humid. Expect those afternoon showers and thunderstorms popping up. The temperature daytime will be in the low 90s. At nighttime, around the 80-degree mark. That puts a wrap for your final look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Bahamas at Sunrise will be back after a short commercial break.
Do you want to know more about the scriptures, the early Christian church, its teachings, suffering, other religions, the authenticity of the Bible? The Anglican Theological Institute is for you. Enroll in a 3-year certificate program. Classes are conducted from NASA and Freeport on Saturday mornings. Don't miss a class. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with high-speed internet. Contact us at 603-2481. Visit our Facebook page. Pick up an application form at any Anglican church or at Addington House on Sands Road. The Anglican Theological Institute is for you.
Nourish your immune system, nourish your health, nourish your life with Ensure, Ensure Original, Ensure Plus, and Ensure Max Protein.
To Bahamas at sunrise with the closing of the borders and recommendation against international travel because of COVID-19 pandemic. There's been a renewed appreciation of sorts and the focus of various yachting and boating activities and established revenue streams that the industry can afford. The country here to talk with us about this impact, and hopefully it's an opportunity, is Basil Smith, Executive Director of the Association of Bahamas Marinas. Basil, it has been a long time, but it's good to see you once again, my friend.
Good to see you, Phil. Yeah, good to see you.
Listen, 2020 is turned out not to be the year that we all thought it would have been. But you know, we're still grateful, right? Grateful to God that we are here. We have an opportunity still to live and hopefully sometime soon to prosper. But let's talk about the ABM, the Association of Bahamas Marinas. What has been the biggest challenge and concern that has arose during this pandemic?
Well, the biggest challenge, I'd say, apart from the obvious threat that the virus poses to us all, is the uncertainty. The uncertainty, which is easing up a bit after June 15th. But you know, that period we all went through when we weren't certain what's going to happen, how things going to be, will there ever be tourism again, how will it work, and the industry closed ranks and worked very, very closely with the public sector, and we came up with a practical solution and approach to things, and the boating sector actually was able to open up for business 2 weeks ahead of the rest of the sector. And it's been very stable since. We've had no incident at all that's been traced back to any boater or any incident involving the boating sector at all. And the government has been very supportive of the sector as a result. And the enthusiasm among the boating community here in Florida remains high, but some amount of uncertainty has affected demand. You know, the changes as to lockdown, open up, although it remains accessible, country remains accessible to boaters who want to just go cruising, even in a lockdown situation, which is as much as a government could be expected to do in the circumstances, I think.
Yeah, you spoke about that demand period and the fact that, again, there is interest. I think you would find that those who have the ability to would be more than happy to hop on a vessel and be, even during a lockdown, like you say, out on the waters. Has there been any notable increase, you would say, in the demand for these types of activities that you can measure?
No, not really. I think in the circumstances, it would be really very fortunate to enjoy an increase, but it's remained. There's been a fairly steady, although reduced, level of business. Of course, around times like the 4th of July and periods like that, which are holidays to Americans, some marinas are actually full beyond capacity and had to be passing on business to other marinas. But business has declined a bit, but it remains sufficient to remain operational in some cases. We have 36 members in our association, 36, that's 70% of the marinas in the country. And 6 of them, to my knowledge, are now closed temporarily until things look up. But so that's not bad. We still have 30 remaining operational.
Yeah. What is the ABM has been around? I'm trying to remember if it's a fairly new association.
About 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
Starting out its existence actually as the Marina Operators of the Bahamas, MOB.
That's right.
Which wasn't found to be a very viable acronym.
Right.
So we rebranded recently, and we're now the Association of Bahamas Marinas.
Okay, that's probably what I'm remembering, the rebranding.
Right.
But speak a little bit to what the overall mission, mandate, the goals of the ABM.
Well, basically, it started out singularly focused on advocacy to represent the industry's interest in as a private sector group in its relations with government, advocating for safety measures and aids to navigation and stuff like that. But as the membership has grown, we've branched out more and more into marketing and promotional activity in partnership with the Bahamas Tourist Office and the Out Island Promotion Board as circumstances will require. So now we represent the sector at boat shows. We have a very, very robust presence in social media. We have a very, very useful website, and we're looking at other online methods to facilitate boaters who want access to the Bahamas.
So with that in mind, how does that whole process work? Can anybody who has a boat or is interested in joining a boat, or acquiring a boat, join the association? What's the criteria for membership in the organization?
That's an interesting question. Obviously, if you're a viable registered marina, you're entitled to a membership, and we have levels of membership depending on the size. But what might not be so obvious is that we now have a category of membership for boaters. In that a boater, if you own a boat and you want to be more actively involved, you can become a Voyager member of the association. And that will entitle you to some benefits at participating marinas in the country. And we also have a large cohort of allied members, people who supply goods and services to the sector. We have, I think, running about 37, 38 allied members now.
Okay, that's good to know. Any other specific information you'd like to share with those who are watching and probably hearing about this association for the very first time?
Yes, well, the interesting thing that we'd like people to be more aware of as far as the boating sector is concerned is the potential for further economic benefits for the country. There's a category of boating activity. People might think of boating only from the obvious aspect of it that they actually see in the marinas, boats that pulled up to the slips there and populating the bars and restaurants and all that. But there's a category of activity in the yachting, which is very, very high end. I think it's fair to say it's probably the highest end of recreational boating activity that exists. And there are conditions under which yachts are invited and incentivized to stay in the Bahamas permanently. And there's a large number of such yachts which remain here and are used as charters. Now, this came about when people who own the yachts in some years gone by were taxed very heavily and found it to their benefit to find another home for the yacht. So the yacht, which these are items that are valued at $20, $30, $40 million. And so you own a yacht, you use it 2 or 3 months a year. The members of your company might use it a few weeks of the year, but then the thing is sitting idle as an asset and you could put it to good use. So a charter business developed out of this. And these yachts are now chartered. There's a brokerage business which is very thriving. It sells these vacations to groups of 12 people or so. They're ensconced on a yacht with a crew of 9 or 10 people. And all the provisioning and all the fuel and all the supplies that the yacht consumes are consumed in the Bahamas. Okay. It's almost invisible though, because these people just go cruising. Mm-hmm. So they're out there on the water, they come into a marina, they get the provisions delivered from a grocery store. Or if you shop at Fresh Market, you might see some people from these crews. You see the t-shirts with the name of the boat on the back, the shopping cart stocked high, and the liquor supplies are delivered. All of the consumables are consumed here in the Bahamas, and it's relatively invisible. Now, this sector has potential for great growth because there are areas of employment that Bahamians are not now accessing, which they could possibly do. There's mechanical and electrical repair and maintenance. There's workers' crew. The crews are relatively small, but they're very high-end, high-paid people. And there's potential for travel, and it's an enjoyable way of life. You could do it for a few years as a relatively young person. A relatively high level of experience and education is required, but it's an attractive aspect which people might not even have thought about. Yeah. There's charter brokerage also, and then you could be an agent to yacht services. An agent for yacht services, concierge services. Well, we have a few very resourceful Bahamians actively involved in concierge services right now. There's insurance and marina and boatyard development. So there's a lot of areas which people mightn't have considered as areas for either investment or careers or business activity.
That's you certainly opened up a whole lot of other questions for me, Basil. Certainly a lot of opportunity. Again, what is your contact information as we wrap up this segment?
Exec director at bahamasmarinas.com.
Okay, excellent. Well, there you have it. Basil Smith, Executive Director of the Association of Bahamas Marinas. Again, Basil, very good seeing you. Certainly a tremendous opportunity within that segment and within that industry. And hopefully we'll be chatting with you again real soon.
Sure, Phil. And I invite you to visit www.bahamasmarinas.com, our website.
Great. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Bahamas at Sunrise. Gandhi, over to you.
Listen, Phil, you inspired this, and we're still going to the big yard. We're still checking in with Mark Daniels, but we are going to visit a coconut farm. We're going to visit a coconut farm. And, you know, this farm, they sell the coconut water right here in Nassau at Bertha Boy's Coconuts on Fire Trail Road, west of McKinney Drive. And they offer coconut water by the gallon and jelly bags. So y'all, if Phil is not sharing, at least we can have comfort and confidence that we could still get our jelly coconuts right here on Bahamas at Sunrise. Let's watch.
We are here in the middle of nowhere, Andres, right? No, we're here in Blanket Sound, here at Magnolia Coconut Farms. Doing what? Talking about coconuts. The freshest you can get. So we all know that Andres is the bread basket of the Bahamas. We feel that Andres can feed the entire Bahamas. And we're here today to just find out what Andres can supply to our country. So we're here at the Magnolia Coconut Farms, and we're going to talk about coconuts, everything coconut. Hardy, thanks for bringing us onto the farm today.
You're welcome.
You have a life that many people in Nassau would be envious of. You're surrounded by greenery. You're surrounded by a lush coconut plantation. So tell us what size the farm is and how many coconuts you have here.
We have, at this moment, we have 175 acres of farmland developed. By what we have planted so far, a little bit over 4,000 coconut trees.
Wow.
And we have space more, at least for another 2,500 at this moment.
Wow.
Yeah, we grown our coconuts. We raised them by ourselves. We put them in on different kinds of style. And yeah, you see what's going around here. They looking healthy, and we do keep it, definitely, everything's organic.
It tastes healthy. It tastes sweet. This is probably the sweetest coconut water I've ever had.
Even our vegetables, in the moment, it's not too much on it, but usually you can pick whatever, and it's not affected from any kinds of chemicals.
So tell us that know nothing about coconuts, that know nothing about farming, how do I get from a little coconut plant to what I'm holding in my hand?
Okay, we picked basically the dry coconuts, put them in a pot for a while until they tall enough so that we put them out. And then we just make sure we put triple superphosphate, a little bit of chicken manure, and they're ready to go. All what you got to do then afterwards is definitely water, and they're smiling.
Well, we know Andres has no shortage of water. So how long does it take to get from a plant to a fruit?
When you might look at this set here on the side, they got about approximately 2 years and 3 months that I get into this size from the coconut.
Right.
What I put it in the pot.
2 years and 3 months. That sounds pretty quick.
That's a new record, I think.
That sounds like a new record. As far as I know, coconuts take about 3 years at least to start being ready for harvest. So we're here. I'm drinking this coconut, but who do you sell your product to? Do persons in Nassau get to have access to this wonderful coconut?
At this moment, we ship out between 800 and 1,000 coconuts out to Nassau on a weekly basis. We have one distributor over there who, sell them over there in different kinds of areas. But we could come up easily at this moment between 1,200 and 1,500.
Wow. So most people in Nassau, when they're passing some of those vendors on the street that's selling coconut water, this is where their coconuts came from.
I would say to 85%, yes.
That's awesome. So Nassau, y'all hear it now. The coconut water y'all drinking coming straight from Andres. Organic, straight from the motherland, straight from the big yard, right? So what else do you grow here on the property?
We have some vegetables. We started off now with some chicken, some kind of little experiment what we're doing. We have also sheep, where we're definitely going to expand more and to keep the weed killer off our back and let the sheep do their job.
Yeah, the sheep are your weeders.
Great. They do a great job. We tried at first here with 15. And we're going in to get at least by 100.
Wow.
Or even more.
That sounds like a great idea, because the sheep, they eat the weeds and then they also fertilize as well.
Right.
With the manure, with their droppings. That sounds like a great system. So if I wanted to come here and live on this farm and work on this farm, what's the potential for this farm? What's the potential for some of these coconut products? What else can we do besides sell coconut water?
Basically everything. You could use a coconut tree and coconut and can use that to an extent. You could do pastry out of it. You can coconut water like what we're doing. You could do the shells for jewelries, or the coconuts for mulch, the leaf for mulch.
Right.
You can use the whole coconut.
And what do you think the future holds in terms of not only coconut production in Andres, but just farming in Andres and being able to supply Nassau with fresh, quality produce?
Basically, we could plant vegetables in every second row between the coconut trees. You leave one row for the road to pass through. And the next row you can just plant vegetables straight through in between.
Hardy, we're going coconut crazy, man. As I said, this is the best coconut water I've ever had.
Plenty of people told me already about that. We have the sweetest coconut water in the world, I think. We call it soda already.
It's soda?
We call them soda already.
We're here going coconut crazy in Blanket Sound, Andres. We're at the Magnolia Coconut Farms, and we're drinking the best coconut water I ever had in my life. Hardy, thank you for inviting us here.
You're welcome, anytime.
Just when you see coconuts in Nassau, think about Andres. We are here in the middle of nowhere, Andres, right?
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you so much for getting up early and zooming with us. Gandhi, always a pleasure.
Yes, always a pleasure. And I want to say also to happy birthday to the Honorable Melanie Griffin, Calvin Weish, and Dr. Misty Adderley Roll. And we hope that they are watching and celebrating along with us. Confetti.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, you guys continue to have a great morning. Have a great week. Make it a safe week. Again, protocols, safety, safety, safety.
And check in on one another.
That's right.
Bye-bye for now.